Hello and welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, for the review of Girona against Barcelona and a chance for Barca to make it 6 out of 6 wins. And we've managed it. As always, the reviews in association with OneFootball. Their app users tonight must be wondering if they can select their man of the match as own goal scorer, because tonight there were 2 own goals scored from Girona players, giving Barcelona a comprehensive 3-0 win on the night. We're going to have a look at the goals first of all, as always, and then look over the match in a bit more detail. It started here with Jordi Alba, who viciously claimed the goal to be his own, but later you can see on the replay it's clearly an own goal. The defender swipes at it, gets no contact at all on it, and it ricochets into his own net. And that was just before the 20-minute mark. We were struggling in the game. We didn't quite have a foothold in the game. Girona certainly had their fair share of the ball. They were threatening as well with a few chances, but that was a big goal at a big time, and that sort of changed things in that first half. And then on the 47th minute, it looked like Luis Suarez had finally got his goal, the goal that he desperately needed. It was a really good bit of play down the right-hand side from Alex Vidal. He gets to the byline, he cleverly backheels it back across the goal, but Luis Suarez on the replay, as I'm going to show you in just a moment's time, he doesn't actually make contact with it. He's certainly there. His presence is a big thing to Irizos, the goalkeeper. It clearly puts him off, and then he can't adjust his body, and in the end it does go in as an own goal and does go down as an own goal from the goalkeeper Irizos. It comes across here. Suarez doesn't actually get anything on it. You can see the ball come across. Suarez motions to get that back heel on it himself, but he can't adjust his feet in time. The goalkeeper is planted, and it does go down as an own goal, meaning in this game there was 2 own goals from Girona players. This, of course, a big derby game, the first time these sides ever have met in La Liga, and Girona on the night certainly gave us our helping hand of luck. But in a way, it was nice to have that luck. We weren't always fantastic, we weren't always brilliant on the field. You know, at times we gave the ball away, at times we conceded chances, we were giving up a lot of space in that midfield area once again. But Luis Suarez did get his goal in the 68th minute, and that was very much that. That was the goal that killed the game. It killed Girona. They were very, very good. They kept going. Their fans were good. There was a good atmosphere in the stadium. They never gave up, but that goal certainly put the game to bed, and I was so happy to see Luis Suarez get on the score sheet. I really, really was, because you want him to get that confidence. Things at the moment, even in this game, he wasn't fantastic. Still, there was things that he wasn't doing to his usual standard, but a phenomenal ball here across from Sergio Roberto, a really good assist, but a nice first touch here from Luis Suarez. He gets his first touch right, which isn't always the case at the moment with him. He gets that right, and then he gives himself time to have a look up at the goalkeeper, and it's a really clinical finish. And that is the Luis Suarez that we want to be seeing. That crisp player that has a good first touch, that knows where the goal is, and is very calm and confident in front of goal. That's why I wanted him to get on the score sheet, get that confidence back, and get that belief back in front of goal. Could be so vital going forward for us in this season. But 3-0 on the night, like I say, doesn't really explain the full game. Like I said before, they certainly had their chances in on goal. They certainly had their opportunities. Ter Stegen himself was called into action a number of times on the night, and it was very similar to the Eibar game in that respect. We didn't always have full control over proceedings. We didn't always defend fantastically well as a team, as a unit. But Girona actually finished the game with more goal attempts than we did. They had 13 shots on goal in total. We finished the game with 10. We did have more shots on target, though. We finished with 6. They only had the 2 shots on target, of which Ter Stegen saved very, very well indeed. A good performance from him tonight. But obviously going into the game, we were a bit sceptical. There was no Nelson Semedo. There was a midfield of Paulinho, of Rakitic, of Iniesta. There was no Busquets. So already the alarm bells are ringing a bit. When you take Busquets out of the lineup, you're going to suffer in midfield. Rakitic, that isn't his natural position. He played a bit deeper on the night. Paulinho just off him. But once again, like the game against Eibar, Paulinho was in a very, very advanced position for much of the game. He didn't really take up that midfield role. He was much higher up. He was looking to get on the end of things, which of course can be effective. In the first half, he was very, very close from a corner kick once again, coming in, attacking the ball. He does look like he's going to be a threat from set pieces, but we just suffered in midfield a bit today. Iniesta couldn't get in the game as much as he would have liked to. Rakitic from some deeper roles, so he didn't didn't really have that control and that engine that he's usually allowed in midfield up and down the pitch. So we just didn't really have that flow in midfield. We didn't really have that control once again in midfield, just like against Eibar when we did concede a few chances. There was a few breaks that Girona had on the break, you know, coming forward. They had a lot of space to go into. So at times we did look susceptible to that, but also at times you look good going forward. You put a few passes together. Lionel Messi on the night was man-marked very, very closely. But of course what that does when you're followed round the entire game by one player, that is the other side to Messi. Of course, he may not have produced anything fantastic tonight, but he was followed round the entire game by somebody, which meant that Alex Vidal or Suarez or Paulinho, they had one man less looking after them and a bit more space for them to work into. In terms of Vidal, he was playing a bit more higher up the pitch, a bit further forward, in that right-wing role that we saw him come on, you know, in the Eibar game and create an assist. And he played decently, you know, he made the assist for the Suarez, not goal, but the own goal by Arizos. And at times in the final third, he looked a bit like Deulofeu. He was getting into all the right positions. He worked hard. He was very, very quick. We know about his pace. We know about his athleticism. But when he got into those final third, he didn't always make the right decision on the ball. There was a few times where he could have made the better choice of pass. And I think in the second half, Valverde did the right thing. He changed things around. He brought Busquets on just after the hour mark for Paulinho, and when Busquets came on we looked a lot more relaxed, we looked a lot more comfortable in possession. He was then in that deeper role, Rakitic just off him, Iniesta to the left, and we looked much more structured then and much more comfortable, and that then led us to get that decisive third goal, Suarez scoring just a few minutes after Sergio Busquets was introduced. And it was a much, much better performance when Busquets was on, when we were orchestrating play and building our attacks nicely. And like I say, I think Sergio Roberto down that right hand side, even though right back is not his preferred role, it's not a role that he enjoys playing in, he would much rather be in that central midfield, and we saw evidence of that. You know, you look at the assist for Suarez's goal, we look at other moments of play as well from him, and I really want to see him in that midfield role, and I really do hope that we see him there and not stuck on this right hand side, because even as a right back tonight he played decently. You know, he defended well at times. There was a few last gasp headers and a few last gasp tackles that he did very, very well, but he needs to be playing in midfield. That's his position, that's where he wants to play, and for me, the quality that he has, he's still relatively young, he deserves a chance in midfield and a proper go at stamping down a role in that midfield. So hopefully we can see that in the weeks to come. Denis Suarez and Andre Gomez were introduced with about 10 minutes to go. Denis Suarez particularly, he came on, he was picking the ball up certainly in midfield with Busquets, and they were interchanging very, very nicely. Denis Suarez looks very, very comfortable on the ball. I really do like what I'm seeing from him at the moment in terms of his performances, and I hope that we can see a lot more of him going forward. I think in centre defence, Mascherano played very well alongside Umtiti. At times there was a few mix-ups between the two. They was obviously not that used to playing with each other, but as the game went on they looked stronger and stronger, and I think Valverde himself has a real decision to make, because Mascherano against Girona tonight and also against Eibar played very, very well indeed. He's very solid. We know he's a leader. We know he's a character. He's going to fight every second that he's on the pitch. And I thought tonight he played very well again. So going into the game on Wednesday against Sporting in the Champions League, we know that Piqué is in the best form of his life right now. Will Valverde keep Mascherano in the team, or will he bring in a rather out of sorts Gerard Piqué? That's going to be a big decision for Ernesto Valverde. But like I said, overall tonight it was a decent performance. I don't think we played well. I don't think you can stretch to that. You'll look at the scoreline and you'll say, you know what, 3-0. It's a good effort. It's a good win. And it is a good win. The most important thing tonight was the 3 points. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We came into this game knowing that it would be a difficult atmosphere. It was a derby match. It was a big occasion for Girona and their fans. But at the end of the day, we left the game with 3 points. That's 6 out of 6 wins now in the league. You can't complain about that. Tonight, Valverde managed to rest Semedo, even if it wasn't really for the benefit of the team. He did still manage to rest him. He's going to be very, very fresh now going into that Sporting Lisbon game. And we scored 20 goals so far in those 6 games. We're scoring goals. Even tonight, we got those 2 own goals. We're very, very lucky. But at the end of the day, 3-0, it's another win, it's another, you know, big leap in momentum. We keep that confidence going, and that's the important thing. We've got to keep doing that, and if we keep picking up these wins, I hope the performances improve. I think we all do. I think we all want a bit more control. We all want to see that nice football, of course, that we're used to, but I think that'll come. I think the most important thing now is another win tonight, a decent display, a potentially tough away stadium. I mean, yes, you could argue tonight the performance wasn't quite up to the standard that we possibly expect at Barcelona, but you just got to look at Real Madrid, of course. They lost against Real Betis at home in the week. You know, that was a really poor result to them. And even today, you know, they went away to Alaves, potentially, again, a tough away stadium, and they only just scraped through that game. They won 2-1. Alaves hadn't scored in the season before that game. So going away to Girona, we've seen them against Atletico Madrid. They caused them problems. 2-0 up on the night they were against Atletico. In the end, it was a draw. So coming away from home, winning 3-0, continuing our momentum, still top of the league, 4 points now ahead of second place Atletico Madrid, and with 18 out of 18 points in the league, we really can't complain. Of course, we hope that things can improve in terms of our performance, but right now Valverde is seeing what he's got. He's assembling his squad. He's looking at the different systems that he can implement, the different players that he can play in different roles, and I think as the season goes on, he'll understand what sort of players to play in the right games, because things will change as the season goes on. He'll get to know players a little bit better. He'll probably establish a sort of most favoured 11 that you'll play consistently in the big games, and we're going to see that as the season goes on. So I think the development is there, the positive thoughts are there, we're still winning, you know, we're not playing at the massive standards, but still tonight we got the job done, we got the goals we needed, and we got the very important win that we set out to tonight. So 3-0 on the night it finished. I predicted 2-0 in my preview, so 1 goal out, I'm afraid, and if you did watch the PES sort of match play before this game, we were just missing the 3 goals from Girona to be absolutely accurate. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. As always, well done to all of you who did predict 3-0 on the night. I'll see you very, very shortly. I'll have my player ratings video coming up for you. Leave your thoughts down below. I'll see you very, very soon indeed with that video. But until then, as always, another win. Vasca! El Barça!